It's time to predict the scores for game week 5 of this 2025-2026 Premier League season. As you can see, I'm on my own this evening. Unfortunately, Nathan's got other commitments this evening, so he's been unable to make it, but he's assured me that he'll be back for game week 6. Before we get into this week's predictions, we've had a fair bit of feedback on the new format. If you're a long time viewer of the channel, you would have noticed it. So this season we've changed it to looking at 5 games in depth and 5 fixtures in a quick fire round. Now earlier in the week we did put up a poll on the YouTube channel asking for your feedback with 3 different options. Option 1 was to go back to the old format, which discussed every game in detail. Option 2 was the current format, where we discuss 5 games in detail and 5 in a quick fire round. Or option 3, which is kind of a hybrid, where we discuss the matches of the big 6 so-called clubs with full analysis, and the rest of the fixtures are in a quick fire format. So if you haven't already voted, have a look for that in the community tab or in the notes on the YouTube website. Otherwise, just leave your thoughts as a comment below. In terms of the predictions for last week, which was game week 4, well, Nathan came away with 5 out of 10 results, no perfect scores. And myself, I came away with 7 out of 10 results with 3 perfect scores. Top scorer though, over at the Superbru website with 17 points and 3 perfect scores was the Hewer, followed by Beckham Dominic, who came away with 16 points, which was a share of the spoils with myself. So how that affects the overall leaderboard now? Well, top of the shop is the Hewer, currently on 43 points, followed in second position by Talifo Collins on 42.5 points. But we kick things off for game week 5 on Merseyside for the Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Everton. So the first fixture of the weekend between the Reds, Liverpool and Everton, taking place at Anfield, 12:30 on Saturday lunchtime. Liverpool, of course, in action in the Champions League on Wednesday evening, which incidentally is at the time of recording. They're taking on Atletico Madrid, and that's going to be kicking off in about 20 minutes time. Since 2000, Liverpool have only lost once at Anfield against Everton, and last season Liverpool won this fixture 1-0. Liverpool's all-time record signing as well, Isak, should see some minutes on the weekend, as he is actually starting this evening against Atletico Madrid. Last Saturday, Liverpool left it late with Mohamed Salah scoring from the penalty spot to win 1-0 against Burnley. And wow, didn't Burnley make it tough for the Reds? And Everton, they played out a 0-0 draw at home against Aston Villa. In terms of injuries, well, both of these clubs at the time of recording do have a fairly clean bill of health, with the likes of Branthwaite and Mikalenko still sidelined. And for Liverpool, it's just Curtis Jones who looks like he'll miss this fixture. In terms of the odds, Liverpool are priced at 1.4 in the decimal. A draw sees 4.5, and for an Everton win, it's at 7.0 or 7-1. For my prediction, I think Liverpool, 4 wins out of the 4 so far. I think they'll make it a 5th, especially at home in front of that Anfield crowd. Everton will be probably coming into this fixture a little bit fresher because of Liverpool's involvement in the Champions League, but I fully expect the Reds to win this one fairly comfortably 2-0. And Nathan agrees, he's gone exactly the same as me. He's gone for a 2-0 victory to Liverpool as well. Next up, we've got a 3 o'clock kickoff, an all-London affair. We've got West Ham United coming up against Crystal Palace, and West Ham finding it really tough in the Premier League so far this season. Last week they suffered a home 3-0 loss against Spurs, and it could have been a whole lot more than that as well. For Crystal Palace, they played out a 0-0 draw against Sunderland, and last night in the EFL Cup They came through in the end on penalties against Millwall, with the Wall holding them to 1-1 over 90 minutes. In terms of players unavailable for this fixture, well, Souček for West Ham was shown a straight red card against Spurs, and he'll be sorely missed in the middle of the park for the Hammers. For Palace, they've still got quite a few injuries, most notably Sarr still unavailable for the Eagles, and also Nketiah up front. In terms of form between the two teams, well, West Ham have only recorded one win in their last 6 matches against Crystal Palace. And Crystal Palace, looking at their form, they're unbeaten in their last 10 Premier League fixtures. Of course, they've only played 4 matches so far, but this stretches back to last season as well. So a real tough nut to crack at the moment. And West Ham, I think, are going to find it really difficult against Crystal Palace. However, Palace have only won once this season in the league. Looking at the bookies' odds for this fixture, well, West Ham are priced at 3-1 at home, or 3.0 in the decimal. It's a 3.2 for the draw and 2.38 for a Crystal Palace away win. In terms of my prediction, well, I'm going to go for a 2-0 away victory to Crystal Palace. Mateta's looking sharp in front of goal, although they're not really flowing for him at the moment. He had one real golden opportunity in that fixture against Millwall last night, and once one of them goes in, I think the floodgates will open for him. Nathan, he's gone for a 2-0 victory as well for Crystal Palace in this fixture. So far, we're both agreeing with each other. Next up, we've got the 5:30 fixture live on Sky. We've got Manchester United coming up against Chelsea. Chelsea, of course, in Champions League action away against Bayern Munich on Wednesday evening. That was due to kick off shortly as well at the time of recording. Last week, Manchester United losing that Manchester derby 3-0 away against Manchester City. They had their chances in Bueno with a couple of good opportunities, one of them a fantastic volley, but it didn't end up in the back of the net, and they ultimately lost that fixture. Sesko up front for them hasn't been firing yet, no goals for him, and I think it will take him time to acclimatise to the Premier League. Almiron, the manager, increasingly it looks like he's under pressure, and he's really looking for another victory in the Premier League after that narrow 3-2 win against Burnley a couple of game weeks ago. As for Chelsea, they've got an abundance of talent they can call on. João Pedro has taken to Chelsea like a duck to water, and Caicedo, along with Enzo in the middle of the park, has been brilliant too, and what a strike by him last weekend. And also Cole Palmer coming into the fray with a goal which I don't think he scored in the Premier League for Chelsea in quite a while now, so it's good to see him back amongst the goals. Looking at the head-to-head between these two sides, well, the last time Man United lost against Chelsea in the Premier League was way back in 2010, and they'll be hoping they can get at least a point against this Chelsea side. In terms of injury news, Mason Mount is still out for the Red Devils, and for Chelsea, the likes of Lavia and Delap are still sidelined with their injuries. Looking at the bookies' odds, well, Chelsea are slight favourites in this fixture. They come in as the away team at 2.4 in the decimal. Manchester United at 2.7, and the draw is at 3.4. In terms of a prediction for myself and Nathan, well, I think this one will end up as a draw just because of the form between the two sides at Old Trafford. You'd have to go with Chelsea for overall form for this season, but I think Manchester United will have learned a few things. The manager will have hoped that they've learned a few things after that defeat against the Citizens last weekend. And for Nathan, his prediction, well, he actually thinks that Chelsea are going to go to Old Trafford and smash them. He's gone for Manchester United 1, Chelsea 3. Next up on Sunday at 2 o'clock, we've got the Cherries, Bournemouth taking on Newcastle. And Bournemouth have been brilliant this season so far. Currently find themselves in 4th position in the Premier League. And Newcastle find themselves slap bang in the middle of the table. 4 games played, 1 win, 1 loss and 2 draws. Last weekend, Bournemouth came through that South Coast clash over Brighton with a 2-1 victory. Semedo looks like he's their star man, their main man, but I thought looking at that match again, they could have actually beaten Brighton by more than the 1 goal. Newcastle left it late against Wolves with debutant Voltemade, the 6'6" German from Stuttgart, with a fantastic header to beat Wolves 1-0. Although, looking at Wolves, they really started the game well, and they could have been ahead up at St James's Park, but for some inaccurate finishing and some fairly decent saves by the Newcastle keeper. In terms of injuries, Bournemouth still without Unal, and centre-half Diakite may be missing for this fixture as well. For Newcastle, Ramsey is still unavailable. Wissa, he was injured in the recent international break playing for Congo, and also Gordon is still out due to suspension. In terms of the bookmakers, well, Bournemouth are favourites for this fixture with 2.45 in the decimal. Newcastle are 2.75, and the draw is priced up at 3.3. As for a prediction for myself, I think both teams will score in this one, but I am going to go for a narrow 2-1 victory to the Cherries. I think they've looked brilliant so far this season, and at home, before their home fans, I think they'll take all 3 points in this fixture. As for Nathan, he thinks Newcastle will charge down to the south coast and take all 3 points in a 2-1 away victory. Next up, we got what possibly could be the biggest clash of the weekend. However, fans on Merseyside will probably beg to differ. We've got Arsenal coming up against Manchester City. Both of these clubs last weekend, of course, winning 3-0. Arsenal beating Nottingham Forest, and Manchester City beating Manchester United. Haaland with a brace last weekend, and Phil Foden getting on the score sheet too. And Doku, when he was running at players, he looked unstoppable against Manchester United. Both of these teams, of course, are and have been in action in the Champions League. Arsenal were playing on Tuesday evening and came away with an excellent 2-0 victory away in Spain. However, Manchester City are playing on Thursday evening, which gives Arsenal a massive advantage before this fixture late on Sunday afternoon. And if I was Pep Guardiola, I would not be happy with that. He must be tearing his hair out with how the fixtures have landed. In terms of injuries, well, for Arsenal, Jesus, Havertz are still out, and they've been joined by the likes of Odegaard and Saka on the treatment table. For Man City, Shirky, Mamouche, Kovacic, and Aït-Nouri and John Stones are all still sidelined. And this is at the time of recording on Wednesday evening, so who knows what could happen when they take on Napoli on Thursday evening. As for the form between these two sides, well, Arsenal haven't lost against Manchester City in their last 5 meetings, and last season the Gunners beat Man City 5-1 in London. In terms of the bookies odds, well, Arsenal are priced up at a very, very short price of 1.85. Manchester City surprisingly are at 3.8, and the draw is priced up at 3.5. As for the managers, well, Pep Guardiola has taken on Arteta 14 times in his career. Pep's won 8 of them. Arteta has won 4, and there's been 2 draws. In terms of a prediction for this match, well, Arsenal have got a massive advantage over Manchester City with those 2 days rest. They're at home as well. Decent form against Manchester City as well. I think there's only going to be one winner in this one, even though Haaland is in superlative form at the moment. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to the Gunners. And as for Nathan, he's gone for a 1-1 scoreline. Now we go over to the quick fire round with the remaining 5 fixtures. And first up, we've got Brighton coming up against Spurs. Spurs have had an excellent start to the season, so I'm going to go for Brighton 0, Spurs 1. Then we've got Burnley coming up against Nottingham Forest. A real tough one to predict this one, but I've gone for Burnley 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Then we've got Wolves coming up against Leeds. I think Wolves will get their first points on the board this campaign with a 1-0 victory against the All Whites. Then we've got an all West London affair between Fulham and Brentford, and I think they'll cancel each other out in this fixture. I'm going to go for 1-1. And the final fixture of this game round for me, Sunderland against Aston Villa. Aston Villa without a goal in the Premier League this season, but they did score in the EFL Cup. Sunderland's defence looks great, really strong at home, but I've got a feeling that Villa will pick up their first points of the season too, so I'm going to go for Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. As for Nathan's quickfire round scores, well, he's gone for Brighton 1, Spurs 2. He's going for Burnley 0, Nottingham Forest 1. He's going for Wolves 1, Leeds 2. He thinks Fulham will beat Brentford 1-0. And he also thinks the Black Cat Sunderland will beat Aston Villa 2-1. So, those are our predictions for game round 5. Leave your predictions over at the Superbru website or as a comment below. This weekend, myself and Nathan will be at the top of the table clash in Division 1 between Cardiff City and Bradford. So look out for a vlog over on his channel sometime on Sunday evening. But those are our predictions. Enjoy the Premier League action on Saturday and Sunday. Good luck with your Premier League predictions, and we'll see you all in the next video.
Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling.